What's up, everybody? Matt Modi here with some pumped up NFL player props for Monday Night Football between the Eagles and the Seahawks. When I say pumped up player props, all I mean is I find player props that I like. Instead of taking them at the main line, I pump up the numbers a little bit to get juicy odds for a better payout. On the year, it has been phenomenal, the success that we've had. But unfortunately, today, Sunday, was not our day. I had 3 pumped up props for you guys. Did not get any of those 3 to cash. We end the day 0 for 3, down 3 units. I picked a Rams receiver to have 100 plus receiving yards. One did. I picked the wrong one. I picked a Bucks receiver to have 100 plus receiving yards. One did. I picked the wrong one. I had Puka Nacua and Mike Evans. Unfortunately, it was a Cooper Kupp and Chris Godwin day. But luckily, we still have a ton of success, so we're still squarely in the green on the entire season. Now, keep in mind, I started doing the pumped up props in week 7. Since then, since I started doing it, we are up 18.24 units with an ROI of 10.96%. So today was rough. Let's hope we can make it back for Monday Night Football. If you're not already, make sure to subscribe and let's get into it. So the first play that we're going to go ahead and lock in here is DK Metcalf anytime touchdown, plus 165 odds at ESPN Bet. It's also plus 160 pretty much everywhere else. So technically not a pumped up prop, still a plus money banger. So I think it applies with what we're trying to do here. In general, for this game, I like both passing offenses to have a good game. So that also means I think the receiving options are going to be good for us as well. Obviously, our official play is going to be DK Metcalf to score. And he's been on fire recently. Now, it's a 2-game sample size, so you don't want to take too much into that. But he scored 3 touchdowns a couple weeks ago against Dallas. And last week, he scored a touchdown against San Francisco. Even if it ends up being a Drew Lock once again in this game, I'm not scared off of DK Metcalf anytime touchdown. Drew Lock started last week for the 49ers, and DK still scored. And keep in mind that the 49ers defense is significantly better than the Eagles defense. The 49ers, 4th best defense in the NFL, according to DVOA, with the 4th best passing defense as well. Again, that's according to DVOA. The Eagles, meanwhile, have the 20th ranked defense, according to DVOA, and the 23rd ranked defense, specifically in terms of passing defense. On the year, no team has given up more wide receiver touchdowns than the Philadelphia Eagles. They have given up 23. The next closest team is the Commanders at 20. Even if you look at a more recent sample size, if you just look at week 11 till now, the Eagles still have given up the most receiving touchdowns in the NFL. That's including only playing 4 games in that span because of a bye week, while the teams with the 2nd and 3rd most both played 5 games. So even playing 1 fewer game than the teams with the 2nd and 3rd most, the Eagles have still given up the most receiving touchdowns to wide receivers. So DK Metcalf is who I like. You could also convince me Tyler Lockett, JSN, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. I think the receivers for Seattle are going to have a good game. Obviously, I'm officially riding with DK Metcalf, but all of them I think could go off. Not to mention for this game for the Eagles, their starting cornerback and best cornerback, Darius Slay, is going to be out of this game. And I know the Eagles made a change at defensive play caller. That doesn't really do anything for me. I still think their defense is going to struggle, really have a good game, or really, have a bad game in this one, leading to DK Metcalf having a good game. I also like DK Metcalf over his yards prop as well. I like pumping that number up. We're only going to track whether he scores or not, but as an honorable mention, I do like his yards. That's our first play. Next up, second play of the slate of the game. We're taking AJ Brown, 8 plus receptions, plus 162 odds at FanDuel. So for the other side of the ball, another receiver that I like to have a good game, obviously this time in AJ Brown. Even though the Eagles have gotten absolutely smashed the past 2 weeks, AJ Brown has still had a good game in both of those games, at least statistically. Last week, it's a weird game for AJ Brown. He had multiple drops and he fumbled. Just a weird game. Even with that, he still had 9 receptions for 94 yards. Eagles got their teeth kicked in against the Cowboys. The week prior to that, against the 49ers, a game in which the Eagles got their teeth kicked in, AJ Brown had 8 receptions for 114 yards. What the Eagles do when they're in a rut is they throw the ball to AJ Brown. 3rd down, throw the ball to AJ Brown. Throw it to AJ Brown a ton. I expect that to happen in this game as well. Now, to be clear, and to talk about this for a little bit, Jalen Hurts is currently listed as questionable in this game with an illness. I'm guessing that Jalen Hurts is going to play. He did travel to Seattle. He didn't travel with the team, because he didn't want to get anybody else sick. But if they're having him travel 6 hours from Philly to Seattle, I'm guessing they're doing that with the expectation that he's going to play. And I don't think that they're going to have him play if he's not going to be good enough to play, which I know sounds kind of silly, but I'm expecting Jalen Hurts to play, and I think he's going to be good enough to play. So I mentioned how bad the Eagles' passing defense is. But the same holds true for Seattle, except they're actually worse. According to DVOA, they have the 26th ranked defense overall and the 27th ranked passing defense, again, according to DVOA. Overall, they're allowing the 8th most receptions in the NFL to receivers. And looking at recent stats, the last 4 receivers against the Seahawks have all gone over their reception prop over-under. That includes 2 weeks ago, CeeDee Lamb, who had 12 receptions. That also includes Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel last week, who not only cleared their reception over, but they did it by more than 1 reception. Deebo had an over-under of 4.5. He had 7 receptions. Brandon Ayuk also had an over-under of 4.5. He had 6 receptions. AJ Brown's over-under in this one is 6.5, so hopefully he can clear it by more than 1 reception as well, cashing this play for us. I'm also laddering his reception total up to 10, so I'm putting a full unit on 8+, I'm putting a half unit on 9+, and a quarter unit on 10+. So hopefully AJ Brown has a great game, and we're really hitting big. Obviously, again, we're only tracking officially whether he hits 8, but just to give you guys some honorable mentions. And that's all we got. 2 plays for you guys to lock in for Monday Night Football. Hopefully, if we can get at least 1 to cash, we will be profitable. If we get both, we won't be rich, but we will at least have made back for Sunday's losses. So let's hope for that. And that's all I got. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and have a good one.